Hi, my name's Cordy, and in this video I want to show you why you might want to consider recording a direct signal out anytime you're recording a guitar part, and show you how you can do it with the HX STOMP without using it as an interface. So this is something that took me way too long to figure out, and speaking to Igor, the Bishop Game on YouTube, you should check him out. Basically this is something that I'm going to be doing a lot more of. So I'm just going to show you the A-B of my raw tones from the HX STOMP, and then I'm going to show you what I was able to do with the DI tracks in Helix Native, and hopefully you'll see why I'm considering this as a thing to do. And then I'm going to show you on the HX STOMP the exact process. So hopefully you can hear kind of the possibilities there. There's no reason that you'd have to stick with Helix Native even, you could use whatever, but if you're tracking with the HX STOMP, for me I find that it's useful to track with a tone that I know I like. And then when I'm coming back to mix or whatever, or I've got to send DI track to whoever's running the project, I think it's useful to be doing this. So here's the process. Take whatever preset you're using. So the rhythm preset I was using was the JC Bulbia Stomp, which you can get in the folder if you want it. I want to potentially just send as it is, but you can see I don't have the DSP available. So what I did instead was take off the compressor and go to send mono, send left. And this lead here is just a normal jack. So by default, it's sending out from the left, I think. And you can see the same as yesterday's video with the Helix, you've got send and dry through. So this is a transparent block, and this sits at the front of the chain and means that from here into input 6 of my DAW, as it happens, you can set it up to be whatever you like. I've got the raw DI signal straight from the guitar, and then I've got the actual effective signal going out of these two in stereo. So hopefully that's fairly clear. I'll just do it with another preset so you can see the process. So here's a preset. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom, send and return mono, send left, and then I'm going to drag that to the very start of my signal chain. And that's basically going to make any of my presets work in that way. So I'll just show you with a different one, ODS reverb. So this has got 8 blocks. So in this case, I'm going to have to make a choice about what to do. So I'm going to get rid of the studio preamp block and instead have my send. So for me in this case, what's more important than anything else is to be able to have that DI. So this is more important to me than potentially anything else that is going on in this block. So I might get rid of a compressor, for instance, or I might get rid of a reverb. Obviously with the HX STOMP, you're going to have to make some choices potentially if you're not using the USB. Now obviously you could just use the HX STOMP as the interface, and by default the USB, I think the output's 7, but this is talking about what you can do if you're not using this as your interface. So as I'm not, I want to be able to still send DI signal to my DAW, and I'll show you now how I'm actually treating it in the DAW. That's how I would do it. So it would be the same again. There's one that I've done earlier. So you've just got a little send block, mono send block at the very start of your signal chain, and then you're plugging out of the send, which is actually stereo, but you can do it with a mono cable, and then that's going into my interface. Hopefully that's sort of makes it a bit clear, hopefully. Okay, so I just wanted to show you what's happening once I've actually started recording in the digital audio workstation. So I use Reaper personally, and this blue stuff is what I would normally end up with. So you'd have a clean guitar, sounds like this. And then we got the rhythm guitar. And that's generally fairly cool, but say for instance I was thinking actually this guitar part is very much centered in the center of the stereo field, and you know, maybe I could decide I need a few more mids, so I give it like a small mid push or something, you know. And all of that's fine, but what I've discovered, thanks to speaking to the Bishop game, or Igor, so after speaking to Igor, I found that what I could do is actually send out a DI signal. So I've shown you how to do that at the start of this video with the HX STOMP, and then I can run an instance of Helix Native, and I don't have the same limitations as I had with the Stomp, and I can run like a full Helix preset, or even run a non-compatible preset, which would be like way more than even the Helix Floor could do. So I could run multiple pitches and all sorts of stuff. And here I can boost mids and stuff after the fact if I wanted to, or stick on delays for whatever reason, stick on more drives, change cabs, potentially use other stuff. So that's kind of cool. And then for instance, say I didn't particularly dig the initial clean tone when I got it back and started listening. The kind of good news is I can do the same thing with the clean tone, and I'm running a much more hefty preset here. Or you could even decide not to be a loyalist and use Pliny or something like that. So basically, once you've got this DI track, you don't have the same limitations that you'd have if you just recorded the actual guitar part by itself. Once you've worked out how to do your DIing or sending out a dry track, if you're not using it as a USB device, the HX STOMP like I don't, or the Helix, then this is generally how I think pros would do this in the studio and stuff, so that you've got way more flexibility. If the take is good, you can come back to the project, and you know, maybe when you've added in drums and bass, you'll find, oh, actually that guitar needs a few more mids, or actually that was a way too wet take or whatever. You can come back and you can make those changes, and to be honest, I think it's a really smart way to do things. It will take up an extra block on your HX STOMP, but I think it's probably worth it to be able to come back to the project and potentially make radical changes in tone, and also do things like effective double tracking and stuff like that. I think it's a really useful thing to check out. So hopefully that was vaguely useful, and I'll catch you for another video soon. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, maybe you could consider doing that, or leaving a comment saying cheers or whatever. I'm trying to bring stuff that should be hopefully useful to at least one person. That's the goal. That is what I'm doing. So I'll catch you for another video, and cheers.